It's very difficult to just play the game because you're leading your life.
Have you ever thought that a country bumpkin who made all Americans laugh for half a century was never a bumpkin at all? She lives in a mansion, plays tennis, listens to classical music, moves freely in Nashville high society, but every time she steps onto the stage, she wears a tattered straw hat with the price tag still attached and shouts to the entire audience, "Hello, I am so proud to be here." On the day the truth was finally revealed, everyone burst into tears. What kind of story is this exactly? In 1912, Sarah was born into a wealthy family in Tennessee. Her father was the richest lumber merchant in the area. Her mother was an elegant lady who played classical piano, the youngest daughter of the family. She wore Western-style clothes and studied in elite schools since childhood. Farmers working the land in the countryside were people from another world to her. She only had one biggest dream: to step onto Broadway and become a respected serious stage actress. In 1930, her family spent a large sum of money sending her to a top elite women's college. She received the strictest etiquette training there, learned elegance, learned drama, learned how to stand on stage and become a genuine artist. But things started to get a little strange right here. Every time she performed serious dramas earnestly, the audience would inexplicably roar with laughter. That innate sense of comedy was something she could not control. Back then, she regarded this as her biggest trouble. After graduation, she had not yet turned 21, so she could only stay in her hometown teaching children piano and dancing, waiting day after day for the chance to head for the big stage. But she never expected the door that would truly change her life was hidden in the place she least wanted to go. In 1934, to chase that dream of being an actress, Sarah joined a traveling theater troupe. In that era, a wealthy young lady dragging suitcases wandering remote rural areas was almost equivalent to running away and disgracing the family in the eyes of her relatives. She slept in poorly conditioned hotels, ate meals at strangers' homes, sat at farmers' dining tables, listened to them tell jokes, chat about village gossip, and tell those incredibly rustic stories. Yet it was during those 6 years that she slowly fell in love with these people. Not out of pity, genuine fondness. Fast forward to 1936. Sarah was boarding in a small mountain village in Alabama. The household had an over 70-year-old elderly woman with a heavy rural accent who laughed nonstop all day long. The house was filled with that kind of carefree happiness. Sarah sat there, blending this elderly woman together with hundreds of ordinary folks she met along the road. Little by little, a brand new character began to take shape inside her heart. She named her Minnie, Aunt Minnie. In 1939, at an evening party, Sarah played this role for the first time. She rushed to a department store to buy a cheap straw hat. But you know what? She forgot to tear off the price tag. On that hat dangled a small label, $1.98. She walked onto the stage, the tag fluttering back and forth along the brim. The whole venue erupted all of a sudden. That accidental mistake became the most important symbol of her entire life at that moment. But this was only the beginning. What is more ironic, even the opportunity that brought her to the big stage almost never happened at first. In 1940, executives of the Grand Ole Opry watched her performance at a banquet and decided to invite her onto the program. Yet they felt uneasy deep down, because most listeners of the Grand Ole Opry were real farmers. Would a city woman dressing up as a country person in a cheap yellow dress make the audience feel mocked? Therefore, they only arranged for her the final 3 minutes of the show. 3 minutes. Insignificant 3 minutes. As if testing whether she would cause trouble. November 30th, 1940. 28-year-old Sarah put on that cheap yellow dress she sewed herself, wore the worn straw hat still hanging with the price tag, and stepped onto the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. She suddenly blurted out to the whole crowd, "Hello, I am so proud to be here." The audience burst out laughing. Within days, letters flooded the radio station mailbox like snow. No one felt offended. Viewers said, "This woman is like a relative from our own family." Country music king Roy Acuff made up his mind on the spot to sign her to the touring cast. This partnership lasted a full 50 years. But what outsiders saw, and what truly happened, were two completely different things. Aunt Minnie on stage was an unmarried rural spinster, talking nonstop about silly village jokes and trivial matters. Sarah offstage lived in a mansion next to the governor's residence. She played tennis, visited golf clubs, and donated a large pipe organ to the church. Among Nashville's high society socialites who looked down on country music, she was a welcomed guest. Yet at the same time, she was the most beloved figure in the hearts of ordinary folks. If it were you, do you think you could live in these two worlds at once? Sarah could. Not merely because she was intelligent, but more because she stuck to one rule all her life. Aunt Minnie could joke about never getting married, could chatter about village gossip, could act foolish and plain-looking, but she must never make rural common people the laughingstock. She never crossed that line. For those ordinary people who once gave her warmth, she guarded their dignity throughout her career. That is why so many real farmers would say to her, "She is not mocking us. She is one of us." In the late 1940s, Sarah married pilot Henry. Her husband later became her manager. He flew her across the whole country for tours every day. He stayed by her side for half a century. In the 1960s and 70s, she entered households all across America through television programs. Generations of Americans grew up hearing her greeting. In 1975, she became the first female comedian inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. On stage and off stage, everyone who knew her said they never heard anyone speak a bad word about her. Then, 1985, matters turned extremely heavy. Sarah, already in her 70s, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She secretly underwent a double mastectomy and endured lengthy radiation therapy. But whenever the curtain rose, she still walked onto that stage, put on that straw hat with the price tag, and shouted to the crowd, "I am so proud to be here." The audience roared with laughter. No one knew how much pain the elderly woman on stage was enduring. After recovering, Sarah chose not to stay silent. She disclosed her illness publicly, calling on women all over America to receive regular cancer screenings. She founded the Minnie Pearl Cancer Foundation, the hospital where she received treatment, even named a cancer treatment center after her birth name, the Sarah Cannon Cancer Center. That name went on to save countless women's lives. She turned the hardest days of her life into hope for others to carry on living. Yet fate did not let her rest. In 1991, a sudden stroke brought her performing career to a permanent end. Half a century of laughter came to an abrupt halt. Not long afterward, Roy, her friend of 50 years, also passed away. March 4, 1996, 83-year-old Sarah quietly left this world. She was buried in the cemetery in her hometown. Her tombstone did not bear the name Aunt Minnie. It bore her real name. 1 year later, her husband, who loved her all his life, followed her into death. Starting from those 3 minutes back in 1940, Sarah spent 50 full years, living two entirely separate lives at the same time. That straw hat tagged at $1.98 was never a mistake. It was something she chose to tell the world. Life is inherently imperfect, but those imperfect parts are sometimes the most genuine parts. Today, whenever the lights rise at the Grand Ole Opry, older generations seem to still hear that voice, echoing from the center of the stage. "Hello, I am so proud to be here." She has been gone for many years, yet those words never seem to fade away. Thank you for watching until the end. If this story touches you even a little bit, you can hit subscribe. Also feel free to tell me in the comments what you are thinking after listening. I truly want to know.